survivors, and welcome to Survivor's Guild, the only channel that determines your odds of surviving 2021's Willy's Wonderland. So stay tuned till the end for your survival stats. I'm your sharp-dressed slasher turned horror host, GhostFake, and today we are taking a look at 2021's Willy's Wonderland. But first, go ahead and wipe off that thumbs up button and crush that subscribe button like it's a can of punch soda, or whatever the hell that is. And go ahead and hit the share button to let everyone know that Willy's Wonderland isn't for kids. And also, go ahead and check out patreon.com/survivorsguild. For just $1 a month, you can get access to the bonus content I'm making just for patrons, such as this video. But this will be going up on the channel at some point. And a special thanks to the two sponsors of this week's video, Poltergeist OD.
I'm Poltergeist, and I make inappropriate songs about horror movies.
So basically, I just came to see some naked D's and A's for free. Take a peek, take a key. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies, 12 bodies, mother pray for me. I might go psycho occasionally. One body too many, pray for me, cause we all go a little mad sometimes.
No happy ever after, just chapter after chapter after chapter. Massacre, make the Ripper look like an amateur ambassador of the slashers. Michael!
Lord of the dead, Lord of the dead. You could wake up in the coroner's bed. This is the hour for mourning and dread. Drain out the blood that was stored in his head.
All of the apologies that you can muster from your dread won't protect you on your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead.
This is not a dream, baby. This ain't Halloween, baby. When I'm on the scene, this is what we call a scream, baby.
Subscribe on YouTube at Poltergeist OD. Follow me on Instagram and the Slasher app at Poltergeist_OD.
And Sackhead Ed.
Hi, I'm Sackhead Ed. I wanted to share my experiences as a psychopathic murderer, so I started a YouTube channel where I provide the tips of the trade, slasher secrets, break down the work of notable killers, and give you an insight into my life.
Make sure to like and subscribe, or I'll rip your face off.
Now I hope you like spending the night cleaning a kid's entertainment restaurant just so that you can get your car back, only to find out that the animatronics are out to kill you, because this movie is getting spoiled. Willy's Wonderland, written by G.O. Parsons and directed by Kevin Lewis, and starring Nicolas Cage, Emily Tosta, Beth Grant, Ric Reitz, Chris Warner, and Caylee Cowan. Willy's Wonderland is about a mysterious mute man who must stay overnight to clean a child's themed restaurant in order to get his car back, while also surviving attacks from possessed animatronics. We open up to this scared couple, we'll call them mom and dad, no spoilers, who look like they aren't having a good time, and start running away from something, before dad gets dragged away, presumably into the meat bank at deposit number 1. Mom runs into the restaurant area where she sees a girl hiding in a separate room. We'll call her Liv, no spoilers, who she smiles at before getting splattered all over this TV at deposit number 2. Flash forward like a decade or so, where we meet this nameless dude who has to pull over because someone left a spike strip laying around in the opening credits. He cracks open one of his punch colas and waits for someone to drive by. When a tow truck driver shows up, they load this dude's car onto the truck, and the driver takes him to Hayesville, a nearby town, and the home of Willy's Wonderland. Cut over to Liv, no spoilers, who's pouring gasoline on Willy's Wonderland. But before she can ignite it, Sheriff Lund shows up and detains her. She drives her to a nearby trailer and cuffs her to a pipe of some sort, and their exchange lets us know that they have some sort of relationship. Back with Jed the tow truck guy and Silent Dude, who are at Jed's shop, where Jed lets him know how much the repairs will be, and lets the mute man know that they are a cash-only establishment. He offers the Silent Stud a deal, where he spends the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, and in exchange he'll repair the car. Cut over to Willy's Wonderland, where we meet its current owner, Tex McAdoo, who tells the hushed hunk the history of the place during the walkthrough, explaining the establishment's prior glory, which has since rotted away. Tex shows the dumb, as in speechless, dude where the cleaning products are and gives him a staff shirt, and then chains the door shut. Cut over to Liv, whose friends have shown up to free her. Aaron, Chris, Bob, Kathy, and Dan. They pick the cuffs and free her, and she explains to them that they are going to burn down Willy's Wonderland as a mission, not as a field trip. Cut back over to Willy's Wonderland, where we can officially start calling this dude the janitor. He begins cleaning the restaurant until his watch alarm goes off, letting him know that it's time for a break. While on his break, he finds an old Willy's Wonderland pinball machine. His watch alarm goes off again and his break is over. While he is cleaning, Ozzy Ostrich closes in on him. and the two fight to the death, and Ozzy Ostrich gets mopped into our meat bank at deposit number 3. No spoilers. I know it seems odd that an animatronic would end up in the meat bank, but in this situation, he does indeed belong there. Part of the fun of this movie is the janitor's reaction to the animatronics as they try to kill him. It seems like he's not surprised by it at all. This appears to be a normal day for him. The janitor then cleans up his mess and cleans himself off, and then spends his break cleaning off the pinball machine, before heading to the bathroom to clean that too. When he finishes cleaning the bathroom, he hears the animatronics starting to sing, and he checks it out before powering them down. But when he gets back to the bathroom, someone has made a new mess on the mirrors, so he cleans it off again before he discovers that he's not alone in there. Gus Gorilla jump scares him, and the two of them battle to the death, with the janitor wasting Gus Gorilla into our meat bank at deposit number 4. The janitor then cleans himself up, bandages himself with duct tape, and cleans up the mess. He then takes another break, crushes a punch cola, plays some pinball, and gets back to cleaning. Meanwhile, Liv and her friends show up to burn the place down. But before they can start the fire, Liv notices that there is a man in there. Liv, not wanting to be the cause of the janitor's death, finds her way into the building's duct system in order to get him out. But she's not alone, and she gets chased out of there by Artie Alligator. She lands in a themed room and then is cornered by Siren Sarah, who toys with her for a little bit. And when her friends hear her scream, they decide to head in to save her, and they climb up to the roof to find a way in. The janitor heads into Siren Sarah's sanctuary and finds Liv when Liv is able to get away. She says that they need to leave, but the janitor isn't done yet, and he walks away. Cut back to her friends, who end up falling through the roof and landing into a ball pit. The friends put 2 and 2 together and realize that the janitor has already wiped out 2 of the animatronics.
Oh, that's badass.
Liv again tries to warn the janitor, but he again walks away. Liv, Chris, Dan, and Aaron follow him, while Kathy and Bob head to the Super Happy Fun room for some super happy fun. Liv tells the janitor the history of Willy's Wonderland, explaining that it was established in 1996 by Jerry Robert Willis, who was a prolific serial killer in the 90s, who cultivated similar psychos in his restaurant, and would take unsuspecting families to the Super Happy Fun room and treat them to cake and death, making this family deposits 5 through 8 into our meat bank. She explains that when the police finally investigated the missing persons, Jerry and his partners had already killed themselves in a suicide ritual, transferring their spirits into the animatronics, which is why they count as meat bank deposits. She tells them some of the events leading to the closure of Willy's, and they include 2 kids at deposits 9 and 10. The group hears the animatronics start their song again, and they head out to see what's going on. But while Willy distracts them with his song about counting chickens, Nighty Night pops up behind Aaron and stabs him with his sword, stabbing Aaron into the meat bank at deposit number 11. And while the janitor is on break, crushing punch and playing pinball, the friends scatter so as to not meet the same fate as Aaron, all of them landing in different locations, with Dan ending up in a play area with Siren Sarah and Tito Turtle, and Chris in Gus's arcade where he calls 911. Sheriff Lund answers, and after hearing that Liv is at Willy's, decides that she needs to go help, bringing Evan, who came from a neighboring city, as backup for the evening. Cut back over to Dan, who gets attacked by Sarah and Tito and lands into the foam pit before landing into our meat bank at deposit number 12. The janitor finishes his break and puts Nighty Night down for his nap before decapitating him with his own sword, landing Nighty Night as deposit number 13 into our meat bank. We cut back over to Bob and Kathy, who are still in the Super Happy Fun room having super happy fun, when they notice that Artie Alligator is watching them like the deviant dinosaur that he is, before he rips into the 2 of them, landing Bob and Kathy into our meat bank at deposits 14 and 15. The janitor and Liv discover the carnage, and the janitor immediately dispatches the deviant dino when he rips his jaws open and pulls out his innards and wipes Artie Alligator into the meat bank at deposit number 16. Meanwhile, Cammy the Chameleon enters into the arcade, and Cammy Chameleon convinces the credulous Chris that she's not like the others and doesn't want to kill him. We cut back over to Sheriff Lund and Deputy Evan, where we get a bunch more backstory and a bunch more deposits. Sheriff Lund explains to him that the townspeople knew something supernatural was happening at Willy's, and that Tex hired a demolition crew to bring down the building. But instead, the contractor was found demolished at deposit number 17 into the meat bank. And because of this, the town decided to ignore Willy's Wonderland. But the machines got out and they found bodies at the ice cream shop, the hardware store, and even the school, making deposits 18 through 23. She tells him that at that point, they only had 2 choices: either go to war with the machines and look crazy, or cut a deal with them and look evil. You made the wrong choice, Sheriff. We then see a montage of passers-by, just like the janitor, who get their tires popped and get stuck cleaning Willy's overnight, which in total gives us 7 more deposits, and these sojourning janitors making deposits 24 24 through 30. She explains that that's how she came to adopt Liv, as her family was a sacrifice, but Liv made it out alive. We cut back over to Chris when Liv comes into the arcade and Chris tries to tell her that Cammy is a good one, when Cammy uses her tongue to break his neck, snapping Chris into the meat bank at deposit number 31. The janitor enters the room and prepares to fight alongside Liv, but just as the battle is about to begin, his watch alarm goes off and it's time for his break. He hands Liv a knife and then heads to the break room. Liv spends his break fighting for her life, while the janitor spends his break playing Willy's Wonderland pinball. And just as Cammy is about to make Liv not, the janitor returns from his break and he dispatches Cammy in record time. They walk through the hallway, taking out the trash as they go, but are greeted by Sheriff Lund at the door with a shotgun. She has Deputy Evan put zip ties on the janitor, and then detain Liv and take her back to the station.
He's not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with him.
And then they leave the building. And when the janitor gets ready for a 2-on-1 with both hands tied behind his back, Liv tries to reason with Deputy Evan Olsen. And when he sees the error of his ways, he decides that he's going to make things right. But just then, Tito Turtle grabs him and pulls him out of the vehicle. We briefly cut back over to the janitor, who is making short work of Cammy and Sarah, and then back over to Liv and Evan, where whatever this is happening. Whatever it is, it was effective enough that Deputy Olsen lands into the meat bank at deposit number 32. Cut back to the janitor, who has knocked out Sarah, and he turns his attention to Cammy and breaks out of the zip ties, and he uses his newly freed hands to neck snap Cammy into the meat bank at deposit number 33, while Liv beats Tito Turtle into submission and then starts her trek back to Willy's. Back at Willy's, the janitor is bagging his kills and cleaning up the mess, when it's time for another break, where he proves that he is the Willy's Wonderland pinball champion of the world. He gets back to work and takes out the trash, where he gets spotted by Sheriff Lund, who is pretty pissed that he's still alive. So she escorts him back into Willy's. She calls for Willy, but when he arrives, he swipes Sheriff Lund into the meat bank at deposit number 34. He then throws the janitor into the wall, hitting the birthday button, sending confetti flying into the air. The janitor, who is all dazed and confused, gets his ass handed to him by Willy before being thrown into the ball pit. Sometime later, he emerges from the ball pit and heads into the break room, where he arms himself with some sticks and a sack of punch cola. Now prepared for the final boss fight, the janitor goes to battle Willy, this time handing his ass back, depositing Willy into the meat bank at deposit number 35. The next morning, Tex and Jed show up, expecting the janitor to be a mere deposit, but are surprised when he is very much alive and that the place is very much clean. And we see that Sarah Siren wasn't correctly deposited. They give the janitor his keys and he leaves while they stand in stunned silence. When he leaves, he runs into Liv and the two get into his car and they drive off. Tex and Jed climb into Tex's car and discuss the bright future ahead of them for Willy's Wonderland. But when Sarah Siren shows up in the rearview mirror, she ignites the gas cans that she put in their trunk, blowing Tex and Jed into the meat bank at deposits 36 and 37, and herself at deposit number 38. And as our heroes drive into the sunrise, the janitor hands Liv a punch soda, and they drive down the road and into Tito Turtle, driving him into the meat bank at deposit number 39, and the movie ends. So now, to find out, what are your chances of suffering survivor's guilt? This is where we take a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your odds of surviving this movie. Today's stats are sponsored by Poltergeist OD. If you guys love horror and horror-themed rap and hip-hop, then you're gonna love Poltergeist OD. Check out Poltergeist OD's channel and you'll love it. My personal favorite is his rap about Mars attacks, simply called Ack. It's simply fantastic. By the way, special thanks to Poltergeist OD for this new background music. Thank you guys so much, I love it, and it sounds awesome. Today's stats are also brought to you by Sackhead Ed, who is creating fantastic horror shorts playing with the tropes of the genre that are as creative as they are hilarious. And he's also recently started a new series called The Slasher Audit, and I think it's fantastic. So, cheers to our sponsors. We start off our meat bank deposits with Liv's dad dragging into the meat bank at deposit number 1, and Liv's mom splattering into the meat bank at deposit number 2. We then add Ozzy Ostrich getting ripped apart at deposit number 3, and then Gorilla Gus getting flushed into the meat bank at deposit number 4. We then get a whole family deposited in a flashback at deposits 5 through 8, and then a couple of children getting acquainted with the meat bank at deposits 9 and 10. We then get Aaron stabbing into the meat bank at deposit number 11, and Dan getting devoured in at deposit number 12, and then Nighty Night getting decapitated at deposit number 13, which is then followed by Bob and Kathy getting dirty at deposits 14 to 15, and then we get Artie Alligator opening wide into the meat bank at deposit number 16. We then get a whole host of backstory deposits when we get the contractor at deposit number 17, the ice cream shop at deposits 18 through 20, the hardware store containing deposits 21 and 22, and the school housing deposit number 23, followed by all of the janitors we see that never clean the place at deposits 24 through 30. We then get Chris gullibling into our meat bank at deposit number 31. We then get Deputy Olson getting burped into the meat bank at deposit number 32, and Cammy Chameleon getting snapped into the meat bank at deposit number 33, followed by Sheriff Lund losing her upper half at deposit number 34, and Willy namesaking into the meat bank at deposit number 35. We then get Tex, Jed, and Sarah Siren exploding into the meat bank at deposits 36, 37, and 38. And we wrap up our meat bank deposits with Tito Turtle Looney Tuning into the meat bank at deposit number 39. Now let's take a look at our survivors. We've got Liv and the janitor, which means that out of a total of 41 characters, only 2 survive, giving you a 4.9% chance of surviving this movie. Given those odds, which spirit-possessed electronic entertainment murder machine would make you a meat bank deposit? Let me know in the comments below. And if this was your first time on my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Also, consider checking out patreon.com/survivorsguild. For just $1 a month, you could have seen this video weeks ago, as well as other exclusive content. And a huge thanks to Poltergeist OD and Sackhead Ed for sponsoring this video. And a huge shout out to my patrons, Chris D, Sackhead Ed, Bubba T, Max H, Macabre Python 18, Video Creep, Papa Julio, Valentina P, Destiny T, James H, Mintrex, Brady D, and Matthew for becoming patrons. Seriously guys, I appreciate that, and this is gonna go a long way to making this a full-time gig. Thank you all so much, and as always, thanks, and don't die.